Welcome everybody. In this class we will be studying an interesting question. So foremost we need a semicircle. Now we are given the following information. The radius of the semicircle is 6 units. Okay, and we need one more additional information, that is we have a square. This is the requirement. Okay, so let me take the equilateral triangle as PQR, and this is the solution for this question. So this is required. Find the area of the square. Now since PQR is an equilateral triangle, angle P will be equal to angle Q will be equal to angle R is equal to 60 degrees. So if this entire angle is 60 degrees and OR is the median dividing triangle PQR into two halves, okay, so that means this angle is going to be 30 degrees. So this side is going to be equal to this side, same as this side. From here to here, it is the radius is given as 6 units. So this is 6 units, and this is also going to be 6 units. This entire length is going to be 6 units. Okay. Now I want to know the side of the square. Now this is the shape of this triangle. Okay. So if I were to consider, clearly this is 90 degree. Consider triangle ROQ. This is Q. Then this is 30 degrees. This length is 6 units. This is my R. This is my Q. And this is my O. This is my Q. And this is my O. Okay, so this is my opposite side, this is my hypotenuse side. So if I were to take sine theta, which is opposite side over hypotenuse side, and so what I'm going to do is we would be using cos theta. So cos theta is adjacent side divided by hypotenuse side. So cos of 30 is going to be, the adjacent side is 6 units, hypotenuse side can be found out. Now what is cos of 30? Cos 30 is root 3 over 2. So therefore if I were to take this as sum 2 can be rewritten as root 3 over 2 is equal to 6 over hypotenuse. We need hypotenuse side, so hypotenuse is equal to 6 times 2 divided by root of 3. Now this is rewritten as 12. I'm going to multiply by root 3, divide by root 3. There's already a root 3 here, so root 3 into root 3 will give me 3, and I have 12 times of root 3, right? So 3 will divide 12 4 times. So this is 4 times the root of 3. So therefore the hypotenuse side is 4 times root of 3. Okay, so this side is got. So let me write this side, which is 4 times the root of 3. I'm going to write it here, 4 times root of 3. Now we are asked to get the area of the square. What I wish to do is I would like to name this square as, say, let us name it as UVWT. Okay, so if I were to take, I don't want to use this x, I will take it as some t here. Okay, so UVWT is the square. So what I would do now is let the side of square UVWT be equal to x. Therefore area of square UVWT is x squared, right? So this is going to be x, all this side, the entire length is going to be x, and this is going to be x, this is going to be x. So all these sides are represented as x. Now we see that WV or VW is a chord. Now from the center I can draw a line that will bisect the chord. Okay, so I'm going to write that as the next point of action. Since VW is a chord, a line drawn from the center of circle O will bisect the chord, right? So let me draw that. So this is going to be dividing the chord into 2 equal parts. Okay, so that means this is going to be x over 2, this is going to be x over 2, that division. So this is a bisector. Now next what I would do is I would complete a triangle. So this being the bisector, this is clearly 90, so we can always complete this triangle. So this triangle is completed, and we would consider, I'm going to take this particular point as R. Okay, so we will consider ORW, right? Now clearly this side, which we already assigned as x, so this is a bisector, so clearly this length is going to be x, this length is going to be x. I want to get this length. Why? Because I can apply the Pythagoras rule. So this is already known. From here to here this is 6 units. Okay, this distance is already known, but this distance is not known. The entire distance is not known. This distance is represented as x, so we will have to know this distance. So to get this distance, we will have to visualize, or we will have to consider this entire triangle first. If we were to consider this entire triangle, this triangle alone, we got this as the base and this as the height. We know this distance, we know this distance, so we can always get this distance, okay, by applying Pythagoras. So let me do that. Let me go and consider the triangle. So we will be considering ROQ. This is R, this is O, and Q. This is considered. Now this length is 4 times the root of 3. This length is 6 units. And this is 90 degrees. Right? So by Pythagoras theorem, OR squared plus OQ squared is RQ squared. So this is 4 times the root of 3 squared. OQ squared is needed, and OR squared is 6 squared. So OQ squared is equal to 16 times 3 negative 36. This is 48 and this is 36. So from 48 you take away 36, you get 2 and 12. So OQ squared is equal to root of 12. In other words, OQ squared is 12, OQ is the root of 12. I can write 12 as 4 times 3, which is root of 4 times root of 3, which is 2 times the root of 3. So therefore OQ is 2 times the root of 3. So this is got 2 times the root of 3 is got. Now why do I, or what is the requirement? In other words, why did I do all this? Because I wanted to find the area of ROQ. So the area of ROQ, triangle ROQ, is nothing but half times base times height. Now half into my base is 2 times the root of 3. My height is 6 units. Right. So 2 gets cancelled, you get 6 times the root of 3. So this is 6 times the root of 3 square units. Now the same triangle can be, instead of considering it like this, I can consider this triangle like this. Okay, this is a bisector, so this is going to be hitting at 90 degrees. So this entire length is base, this entire length is height. Now we can actually take this as some P. Okay, I'm going to take this distance as some P, the height as some. So let me write that P here. Right. So if I were to consider this triangle like this, so base times height. So I will consider QOR. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Consider triangle QOR. Therefore, area of triangle QOR is half times base times height. Now the base is QR, which is 4 times the root of 3. So the base, this is going to be forming the base. So 4 times the root of 3. So base is 4 times the root of 3 multiplied with height. The height we are taking it as OP, right? OP is the height. OP is the height. But we already know the area of the triangle as 6 times the root of 3. So if I were to take this as 3, from 3 we know that. So 6 times the root of 3 is equal to 4 times the root of 3 divided by 2 times OP. Right? So if I were to rewrite this, is going to be 2 into 6, that is 12 times the root of 3 is equal to 4 times the root of 3 times OP. Now root of 3 gets cancelled. 4 divides here 3 times. So OP is equal to 3 units. So OP is got. So this entire length is 3 units, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to consider this triangle ORW. So let me consider ORW. Consider ORW. So we are considering ORW. Okay. So this is the shape of the triangle. O, R, and W is here. Now this distance is x over 2. So x over 2. This entire length is x positive. This length has got to be as 3. X positive 3. So this entire length is x positive 3. Now this distance is 6 units. It's a radii of the semicircle. This distance is 6 units, so you write that. This is 90 degrees. Right, so by Pythagoras theorem, we know that. So what do we know by Pythagoras theorem? OR squared plus WR squared is equal to OW squared. So this is going to be x positive 3, x positive 3 the whole squared plus WR squared x over 2 the whole squared is equal to OW squared, which is 6 units or 6 squared. So this is rewritten as x squared positive 6x positive 9 positive x squared over 4 is equal to 36. Now we can multiply by 4 throughout, right? So that would give me 4x squared plus 24x plus 36 plus x squared is equal to 36 times 4. These two can be added. You get 5x squared plus 24x plus 36 minus 6 4s are 24, 2 4 3s are 12, 13, 14, 144 is equal to 0. So from 144 we take away 36, you get 14, that's 8, you get a 3, you get 108. So we got 5x squared positive 24x negative 108 is equal to 0. Now we will have to use quadratic and we will have to simplify. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus root of b squared negative 4ac divided by 2 times a. My a is equal to 5, b is equal to 24, c is equal to 108. So x is equal to negative 24 plus or minus root of 24 squared negative 4 times 5 times negative 108 divided by 2 times of 5. So if I were to take the squares, 24 squared, 24 into 24, 16, 1, 8, 9, 8, 4, 6, 17, 576. So you have negative 24 plus or minus root of 576, negative positive. Okay, negative positive. 4 5s are 20. So 108 multiplied with 20, 8 is a 16, 1, 2. 8 2 is a 16 and 1 and 2, you have a 0 there. So you add this with 2160 divided by 5 2s are 10 here. Okay, so this is what you got. Now what you can do, you can add 576 2160, you get 6 13 and 7 and 2, 6 13. So this is negative 24 plus or minus root of 2736 divided by 10. Now we need to evaluate this square root. Okay, so square root of 2736, what is that? So that is giving a value of plus or minus, I'm going to take only the positive value, 52.306. I'm going to take it as 52. Okay, let me just take it as 0.3, 0.31, 2 decimal places divided by 10. So 52.31 negative 24. I'm getting a value of 28.31 divided by 10. So you divide by 10, you get 2.831. Now what is this? This is my x value. Okay, this is my x value. So therefore the area of the square is x squared is 2.831 squared. So if I were to take x squared, I get a value of 8.0145. I'm going to approximate it to 8.015 square units. Okay, so that is the solution for this beautiful question. Thank you everybody. Please like, share and subscribe.